live? I think we are live. Okay, I think we are live, guys. Sorry about the delay here. I'm gonna pull this up on my screen. So yeah, so we're doing a little bit of a sidestep on our usual mastering Bitcoin stuff. We're just talking about the code, just in light of things, trying to stay relevant. I know a lot of us are kind of tired of the back and forth and the bickering and the Twitter, and it kind of just wears you out. And for me, I had figured out myself, and I don't like taking people's just what they word for it. You got to figure out yourself and kind of just be objective about it. So that's what I'm hoping we can do today. I got some guys that are pretty kind of are sitting on one fence or the other, and they're going to kind of talk about why they think their way, and maybe we'll see what happens. We've never done this before. I've never had a discussion, but so if I screw this up, sorry. But other than that, yeah, I'm coinGuyBri. If you've seen this channel before, we just we're boring, dry, talk about the code. It's nothing fun about me, but I guess we'll start with our first. Who wants to start? Who wants to give a little background?
I can go.
I'm
Christopher. Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna present you. All right.
Hey, I'm Chris. You can find me as Pranal on the btcchat Slack, and I've been in crypto for a long time, and I'd like to see what everybody has to say about the block size and kind of the future of the Bitcoin network today.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Sorry, Nicholas.
Siri doesn't know that one.
Alexa wanted to comment.
Or Alexa. I don't know the block size debate.
You were in. When did you get started in Bitcoin?
Back in 2011.
I guess 16. Okay. So, and you sold it all because it went up a couple dollars, right?
Yeah, it's been a few dollars since then.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So who's next?
I guess I'm Rob.
Yeah. All right, we have to go with the order down here. Rob.
I'm the CTO of Rocketr. I've been in Bitcoin since probably 2011 as well. I created the tip bot on Reddit and Twitter, bringing it to GitHub. Bitcoin's always been super interesting to me. I kind of lost interest during the whole block size debate in the past 2 years. Now with Bitcoin Cash coming out, my interest is renewed, and so I've been getting way into it. So that's it.
Cool. No, I want to talk to people that have us, have it, not just slam cash, and because it's just the easy thing to do. It's just I want to hear the other side's word for it, and not just hear almost a FUD in each side. So I'm glad you're going to talk, Rob. So cool. Who's next?
I guess it's me.
Tulip
Mania. My name is Josh.
I like your talks.
Thank you. I'm Josh. I got into Bitcoin just last year, so fairly new to the space. Yeah, I host a podcast with my buddy Mike. We talk about Bitcoin and explore the week in Bitcoin, and just see where it goes. We have fun. Yeah, and then I work in entertainment, so I have really no understanding of technology from a developer core type of thing. It's just more of my love of it and learning about it every single day.
Yeah, you guys seem pretty. You guys know your stuff, and if you guys check out his channel, we'll put it in the link in the description. But yeah, it's a pretty good talk. You guys are pretty kind of just not taking anybody's word for it, kind of just really giving it your own opinion. I really like it. So
yeah, we don't trust anyone. That's okay.
Good point.
We can only trust ourselves.
Yeah,
in the trustless network of Bitcoin.
It's a good, unbiased kind of just talk. So cool. Well, so before we just battle and kill each other, no, I'm kidding. I don't know if we'll do that. I kind of want to get the backstory of. I guess I might not be able to do it justice, but how did we get to that point? I guess there was a user history, a soft fork. How did were there block size increases in the beginning? That's how they just dealt with when it got congested, and they just hard forked the next block size.
My understanding is that there was a debate, like very early on into it. There was debate of how to scale, and block size was one of those options. But I guess they landed on 1 megabyte for spam attack reasons. That's my understanding. And this is, you know, Satoshi and Gavin and Jeff Garzik and the whole original crew. That's kind of what they landed on, the 1 megabyte at the time, which was, you know, early Bitcoin.
And the blocks weren't even full when they picked that.
No, there's no one using Bitcoin at all. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know in there's a Bitcoin Talk forum post that Jeff Garzik in 2010 had said, hey guys, we should probably start thinking about increasing the block size as a way to scale, because this is going to be a problem in, I don't know, 2 to 4 years. And so he kind of started that conversation.
Okay. Rob or anybody else going to comment on that? Add some backstory.
Yeah, so that's this is Chris. That sounds all right. Yeah, so the blocks haven't increased since then. This year was the first time that they were consistently full, and so now it became, you know, a need to happen kind of a thing.
Rob, you want to have any comments on that?
It's pretty accurate. Yeah, just really, it's been a major necessity, and it's been holding us back. And so, you know, it's nice that Bitcoin Cash came out and just threw it right at 8 megabytes. You know,
and they did that right on August 1st, right? That was the 8 megabytes was the site. Okay,
right.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought,
yeah, and actually, it's 8 megabytes, but it can actually go up to 32 without a problem already.
Okay. So where do we want to begin? God, the price in cash.
Yeah.
What was in the? I don't know. Anybody got the kind of like? What's the why is there a strong feeling about Bitcoin? What's the SegWit and what's why do they hate SegWit, or what's Rob? I feel like I want Rob. I want you to give a nice just lay it out on the table. What is wrong with all of us? What are we doing wrong?
I mean, in my opinion, there's nothing inherently wrong with SegWit other than it adds a lot of technical debt that's really not necessary. You know, it's making Bitcoin a lot more complex and complicated than it needs to be. I mean, you know, we Bitcoin Cash solved it just by, you know, quick line of code change. You know, it's much easier to just increase the block size. We don't need to add all this stuff. I mean, if you look around, like most companies still haven't implemented SegWit despite claiming they were SegWit ready for months.
If they all implemented SegWit, is it still a bad thing? Or I guess I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for both sides. I mean,
yeah. So if everybody implemented SegWit,
yeah,
then it actually wouldn't do that much to increase the throughput of the network. Like there would still be less than 2 megabyte block size effectively. So it's not like that many more people can actually use the network.
Okay.
And then
Right.
You're also losing a lot of information in the blocks when you mine SegWit blocks.
Yeah, I mean, because they're structured different, right? You just you don't get the whole picture in one block. You have to reference other blocks,
Right.
which I don't know if that, I guess that's bad or good. But I guess for my, I'm pissed. I did a transfer yesterday, decent transfer, and I paid it was from a SegWit wallet. I paid $15 in transaction fees, and it still hasn't been confirmed right now as we speak.
When did you send it?
I sent something yesterday around like 1 o'clock. I paid $15 in transaction fees,
and it was
a SegWit address, and it still hasn't been. I can check.
Interesting.
Which kind of set off alarms for me. I'm like,
I mean, yesterday
I know
is a
it was the whole network
yeah,
got spammed,
you
right?
moved it during an attack on Bitcoin, so
Yeah.
Okay.
definitely
All
I
right.
get
a problem.
that. Yeah.
Hold on. All right. How is it an attack on Bitcoin? Can you define attack in this context?
Well, now it's an attack that is. I'm fine with it. Let me clarify it with that, because Bitcoin should be attacked and challenged constantly. So this is something that I don't see it's a problem, but when
You think cash
the
is trying
price
to exploit this, right?
yeah, when the price is being exploited and miners are jumping ship, per the exploitation of the price, then we know it's not natural participation in the network. It's a manipulation, exploitation to play on the FUD and to play on all the,
So what are you claiming is the attack vector here? Is it the transactional volume, or is it just that miners are moving over to Bitcoin Cash?
It's more. I think it's more of a community attack and giving. It's like a PR attack. It's an attack to try and shift the brand name of Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash and the whole, this is the real Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin itself is the fake one. This is Satoshi's vision. To me, it's that type of attack. So it's not an attack on the physical network more than it's an attack on the brand of Bitcoin and the PR of it all.
So how does the PR attack affect the current delays in transactions that Brian was just discussing?
So when you're, to me, when you're presenting this new tool, this Bitcoin Cash tool, as the real Bitcoin, and then you artificially mess with Bitcoin, legacy, SegWit, whatever you want to call it, you're artificially breaking the Bitcoin network so that you can give the appearance that your network is better. And that's what I think was going on last night and has been going on, kind of prepare for that move. And this was kind of, this was D-Day. This was all of America getting ready, and this was their attack on Germany. That's how I see it.
I guess just to confirm this, I guess the reason why, right? Because cash, the difficulty is up so high for Bitcoin right now, and I guess what the price started going up, so it did. I don't know if the miners automatically, their algorithm switched to Bitcoin Cash, and now we lost half the power to mine the blocks, and now the blocks just take forever because we don't have. So we got to wait for that difficulty adjustment on Bitcoin.
Yeah, we have to wait 2 weeks.
Bitcoin Cash is one to go up, so then they switch back to to Bitcoin. Until I see my transaction go through, I've been thinking about maybe trying to do like one of those replay and just try to shoot it out with a higher fee. But
what's funny,
I don't know if I can.
What I've been doing, which I think is kind of funny and is the off-chain version of this, is I'm going to Monero or going to Litecoin and doing it that way. So I'm doing my moves off of Bitcoin and moving it there, and it happens in 10 minutes with Monero.
Shift from Bitcoin to something else right now. You're still going to the Bitcoin network for that first transaction, right?
Oh yeah, if you have it on a wallet, sure. I mean, for me, I'm not moving Bitcoin that much, so it's more, and like the only thing I use it for is trading here and there or whatever. So just popping it on on another coin, moving it, and then converting it back. Sure. Obviously, that's not ideal, and I'm not condoning that and saying that that's a good solution, but that's my workaround.
That's clearly a sign that Bitcoin isn't working right now. If you have to move other coins just to move your funds around, then that kind of proves that Bitcoin it's not the SegWit and the way that they're doing things. It's not working. It's not keeping people on the network. It's literally keeping people away.
No doubt. I agree with that. And the way I see it is Bitcoin isn't ready for the amount of people that are using it. And Bitcoin got bogged down in this debate for 3+ years.
Block size.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a short-term fix. And that's one way to solve it. But
what makes you say
it's actually not a short-term fix?
Sorry, go ahead.
Well,
Chris.
you'd have to continue to increase. So 8 megabytes only gives you what, 24 transactions per second, as opposed to the 3 we would have now, or the 7 with SegWit.
Sure, but we're testing gigabyte blocks right now. We're testing this, and it's successful. I mean,
So I mean, now you get
the
into
levels of scaling.
You get into the, if you have gigabyte block sizes, every 10 minutes you're going to have the blockchain is going to get a node. Or not even a, yeah, I mean, like every 10 minutes is 1 more gigabyte of data. And I mean, I don't even know what that would be. So who's going to store the blockchain? It's going to be these major corporations, the Apples, the Facebook.
Yeah. First of all, I mean, how long away do you think we're going to be filling gigabyte blocks?
If we make the block size 1 gigabyte right now, every 10 minutes it would be a gigabyte, right? Unless you're talking about scaling it as...
No. If we make it a gigabyte, it's not going to be a gigabyte until it's got enough transactions in that block.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it'll still be, 1-2 megabytes right now per block. It's not going to instantly shoot up. We're still years.
Mm-hmm.
A megabyte block with normal transactional volume.
What's I want to bring up transaction malleability, unless you guys want to keep on talking about this. Because, there's obviously, for the way I saw it is like we had something working, we changed it, but because we saw a long-term goal, we're going to modify it slightly because we're aiming for this goal, and Bitcoin Cash kind of just they altered the difficulty algorithm a little bit, which I don't know if it was good for them or bad for them, but it said they wanted to almost like make it more secure, fix transaction malleability, which I can't speak on. I don't know if it's a big problem. I mean, I think Rob, you mentioned earlier, is is transaction malleability something that needs to be? Is that an issue that you can say, yeah, Bitcoin Cash has got that, and it's a problem we're going to fix, or is it? Or what's your answer on transaction malleability?
Some developers on the Bitcoin Cash side are in fact looking into solutions to fix it. I believe Thomas Zander had something prepared that people are looking for, but realistically, it's not. It's a non-issue right now.
Can you explain what it is? I think that's how Mt. Gox got kind of hacked, right? Because they didn't have some kind of protection in place. I guess, did anyone tell me what it is first?
I'm not sure about Mt. Gox.
I think he just left his private keys on his desktop and someone just took them. I think he was that stupid.
But I don't know. It's really a non-issue. We've been we're 9 years deep. We've never seen anybody with an issue with malleability. Some people say it's a feature of Bitcoin, and the only problem right now with transaction malleability is it makes Lightning Network not work so well.
That was going to be my next argument. Is what SegWit, it makes it dramatically, gives you so much more flexibility and features when privacy and anonymity on the Lightning Network as compared to a non-SegWit Lightning Network. Is that correct? Would you say that's correct?
With Lightning, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I guess why does Bitcoin Cash need to go to Lightning if they just increase the block size? We just increase the block size. That's how we fix scale. Why are we even thinking about Lightning Network? Because then now it just makes it it kind of takes away from the whole proof of work.
Yeah, Bitcoin Cash
and the whole decentralization. Because the paper came out and said you can't prove that a Lightning Network is ever going to be decentralized. Or I guess why considered Lightning Network? Is that if everything's fine, just increasing block size?
I mean, Bitcoin Cash. I don't think we're considering the Lightning Network.
Roger Ver is.
Yeah, Roger is.
There are certain instances where it could be useful to have kind of a direct channel that's open between two entities. But yeah, I mean, for using the network, Bitcoin Cash doesn't need it.
I guess Lightning Network is not like going to be a hard fork. It's going to be, hey, it's this wallet you download to use the Lightning. I guess I don't know how that works. Is it kind of optional? Hey, here's the Lightning Network.
Yeah, I think you can choose it if you wish to use it. You're not forced to use it. My question would be is why put the Lightning Network on Bitcoin Cash? Like the whole point was to have on-chain scaling, not off-chain scaling. So again, this was just what Roger said at there was a meetup on Thursday, and he said they're considering putting Lightning Network on Bitcoin Cash. So who knows what that means? I mean, that he's just one little element of it, or one big element of it, I should say. But to me, it just doesn't make sense why you would do that if your whole goal is for on-chain scaling.
Well, I think it's important that we use all the tools available for different purposes. There is definitely a need right now that's apparent that you guys are experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to be done with that transaction.
More people on the network and being able to transact, and so that's what Bitcoin is trying to solve right now.
Yeah. So is Bitcoin Cash is it gonna flip in here in weeks? Do you guys think it's gonna?
Well, I actually do have a little website I made. Maybe we can pull it up here. It's,
no. I'll put it on my screen, or you can share it from your computer.
Yeah, you can share it on yours. It's cashioning.green.
Oh,
G-R-E-N.
I didn't know that was your site.
Yeah.
Can you share your screen here?
Sure.
I guess for me,
I'm on the fence. I'm kind of torn.
Yeah. So because you guys seem to be approaching it from like an engineering development programming sense, and I don't disagree that it's an option, and I don't disagree that it is a fix to the network. In fact, I was very should we show his website? It's up there. It is.
You can click on the coin. Kind of refresh.
Yeah, let me present your screen so it'll stay on there. Oh my God, you asshole!
Kind of reveals the description there, but yeah, it's a fun little way to check the progress on how it's
great. I love it. Wait, if the green is all the way over, does the B?
I gotta stop. We're done with that. FUD.
There it goes. Bye bye.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, so what I was saying was, when SegWit 2x came out, I was actually excited. I was like, oh, cool, we can get the short-term 2x fix, give us that little bit of gap, and then we have time now. We bought ourselves some time. So it's a little strange that the whole thing went down the way it did, but in retrospect, it seems like it was more of a manipulation tactic and an attempt at taking over Bitcoin. From a brand perspective,
that's what Roger Ver wants to. That's his goal in mind, is to have Bitcoin Cash being this store of value and
exactly. And for me, again, when I don't approach it strictly from a technology, programming, engineering perspective, that's where I'm concerned, because I don't want anyone to take control of Bitcoin in any sense. And I don't want there to be misinformation or manipulation or lies, straight up lies. I will say that Roger Ver straight up lies about the way Bitcoin works.
I used to like the guy. I mean, I
used to too. I did.
Did he have his baby and kind of grew up and he became a teenager and rebelling against him, and now he's like kind of pissed off at it?
We can speculate all day.
Yeah.
Who currently do you think controls Bitcoin?
No one.
John Wu. I don't know.
No one.
No one.
Nope.
So how do you suppose anybody would be able to take control of it?
I mean, we're seeing it play out right now. This to me is the attempt to do it. So you play all the angles, and that's not just a physical network angle.
Christ of Bitcoin.
Well,
or I don't know. I'm just saying things.
Yeah, no. I know what you're saying, and to me, the way you're talking about Bitcoin Cash right now, I'm not opposed to what you're saying. Mm-hmm. What I'm opposed to is the way Jihan, Roger, Craig Wright are presenting what's going on. That's
Jihan Wu is literally tweeting out things like Bitcoin is Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin Cash. Jihan Wu's not claiming that Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin at all.
That's just fair, right?
I mean, but that's brilliant. That's brilliant PR moves. Like, of course he's going to say that. Like, what is he going to say? I'm attacking the network? Like, this is where the lies and the manipulation and the misinformation come into play.
Okay, well, wait. I want to take it back, because I mean, it sounded like you were kind of on board though with the need for. I mean, this is the thing about If nobody is in charge and
Mhm.
nobody can make any decisions, then you can't actually get anything done.
I
So-
disagree with that.
So, but isn't it an okay thing for people who want to do something different, for them to go off and try to do it differently?
No, I am totally fine with that. And
Okay.
again, I'm not upset with a world where there's Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. What I'm upset with is the representation that Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, Satoshi's vision.
Okay.
And then that,
Just
and
throwing
then
Segwit out the window, right? Saying, what the
Well-
hell, you guys?
well,
The-
I personally, I think Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin Cash. You know, it's
sure.
two separate things, but for the sake of argument, let's say that, okay, Bitcoin Cash, maybe it's Bitcoin. What is the difference between them for you?
So I think that's a good question, and I don't think there is much difference. It's most of the structure of Bitcoin is there. So to me, it's the EDA and the 8 megabyte block difference currently today, and then whatever changes they have down the road. But those two things to me fundamentally change Bitcoin. I don't think so. From a game theory standpoint, from a checks and balances standpoint, from a miners, nodes, exchanges, wallet holders, users, that whole game theory that Satoshi figured out and made us, for me, love Bitcoin, was that everyone in the network is against each other, and all the little settings and rules are set up to play against one another. So when you adjust the block size, you adjust the power dynamics at play within Bitcoin, within the what I like to. So to me, there's an underlying economic game theory of Bitcoin is what I like to describe. So the miners have an incentive to maintain the network. They're fighting the proof of work. The nodes have an incentive to keep the miners honest, so that they don't band together themselves, control the network, and then
How would the nodes do that?
by maintaining by individually maintaining their own blockchain and basically making sure that miners don't collude with one another and make changes themselves. And so they could say, hey, I have this blockchain that doesn't have the things that you claimed, and I don't agree with that change. So I'm not going to use that blockchain that you are creating. And therefore, me and all my nodes out here are going to say no. And now the network's at a standstill because the miners are trying to do whatever and the nodes are doing whatever. But in this world, the miners would have to bow down to the nodes because the miners would now be mining this stuff that no one wants, and the value would drop down. So to me, and we've heard this many a times online, is miners are slaves to the network. They do what the network wants. That is ultimately the only thing to me that they do.
So what happens if the miners decide to switch anyway, and they say, okay, well, we're going to upgrade, and if your nodes don't validate our blocks, then oh well.
miners are always going to mine whatever's profitable. I mean,
yeah. So
to an extent, right?
How like what are the nodes going to do? Are they just going to sit there and not doing anything anymore?
It would be a standoff, but to me, I think the more nodes you have, that's your voting power. That's what you that to me is the argument for more nodes, is we can band together as a people and run our nodes.
I can spin up 200 AWS nodes right now. Does that give me power?
I mean, that's the Sybil attack of the network. You can do that, I suppose. Are you willing to put in that much effort and money and
with a maintenance system that's so able to be attacked with a Sybil attack? Do you really think that is?
I don't think it is so easy to do so. Now, if there was only 4 nodes on the network, then yes, of course. But what we have, it's estimated to be around 10 or 20,000 nodes out there. We don't know so much of you can hide your nodes and you can do whatever. But if the more nodes there are out there, the stronger the network gets, and each individual node holder has their own say.
Don't you
got another question once we're done with this? But yeah, you guys want to keep going.
Don't you think that maybe it would be a better judge of consensus if everybody had to put in something that's not able to be Sybil attacked? Not like you can't just spin up 200 nodes. Like for example, if you had to put in a certain amount of work.
Can we explain what a Sybil attack is real quick? What node running up nodes? I mean,
sure.
Well, how more? If I control 200 nodes, I can influence the network. Is that
so?
I don't know.
A Sybil attack is having a bunch of different attacks, or the appearance of a bunch of different attacks under one central person. So if you ran a bunch of different nodes, giving the appearance that you were 200 different nodes, when in fact it's just you, that's what's called a Sybil attack.
The nodes, I feel like the nodes don't. But the miner is the one that tell the blocks that input information in the blocks to say the vote, right? The nodes really just relay information, right? They don't really.
They maintain the network themselves, but without doing the work to solve the SHA-256 puzzle and all that.
They don't maintain the network really. The miners maintain the network. In the white paper, when Satoshi talks about nodes, I mean it's pretty clear that he does mean mining nodes, putting in nodes.
Yeah, that's what originally. Yeah. Right now, a node really just is a repeater, right? I mean, really can't.
Yeah, that's my point.
But I mean, you can't
use their power.
You can't. I mean, a miner has so much more control than a node. Right? I got a node right here. I probably can't run.
See, I would argue that you have a lot of power as long as you band together with others.
What would I?
If you disagree, if we all disagree, that's what I'm saying. If we disagree, so all the miners band together and start colluding to do whatever. Now all the nodes can band together and say no. It's a protection of the network from more of a social attack.
Let me put it this way: there's currently, according to BitNodes, there's 11,000 nodes on the network right now.
Mm-hmm.
What network?
I can pretty easily spin up 5,000 nodes on AWS.
Mm-hmm.
It would be trivial. Does that?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you could do that, sure. I mean, if you're willing to pay all that money and maintain it, and do all the things you need to do.
Adding more nodes to the equation is not as trivial. It's not you're not changing anything, right?
I mean that's your argument. I'm arguing that it's not trivial, and we can.
Well, I guess I'm thinking. I think maybe you're confusing it with miners. If I
no, I don't. I'm not.
I guess I don't know anything I could. So if I had, I'm just trying to understand the question. If I had 5,000 nodes and I changed the blockchain of what those nodes were, and I try to overwhelm the network with this new chain, that's how I would do a Sybil attack? Is that what a Sybil attack is?
No. So imagine if one individual had a large amount of hash power, and they started to. Were you saying something?
No. Yeah. So hash power. So a miner. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine all the miners collude together because they're under control of it's one or many individuals, and they all decide that they want to double spend or change transaction, do whatever. Who's going to stop them at that point? If all the mining power is under the control of one or a few amount of people, how do you prevent them to do whatever they want to do? Because that is a possibility. You can't.
If the
just
majority,
say,
that's what it is. That's the.
But how do you? So what is the mechanism to stop that? Because that is a possibility.
It is the.
And that's something, as for me, from loving Bitcoin, is I don't want any of that. I don't want to even have to think about that as a possibility. I need to know that there's some protection against that.
Okay, so what in terms of I don't think 51% attacks are like even possible. But is my money more safe in Bitcoin Segwit or Bitcoin Cash?
Wait, before we get to that,
I don't want. Yeah, if I'm changing, do you want to comment? Yeah.
So the answer is that it's economic incentives. So miners invest a lot of money. I mean, they invest millions of dollars, and they don't get paid back right away. So it's a long-term investment for them. And so they actually want to keep the network healthy, and that means just mining transactions.
Right, because you can't spend the Bitcoin you get from a block for another 100 blocks. You have to wait for that to like
Right.
when you mine a block, you don't get those Bitcoins right
Oh, I
away.
didn't know that. Okay.
So that's actually it's actually interesting. It's not like a hard rule. It's like I keep doing it because if I didn't do that, then I would lose money.
That I understand, but I'm just saying.
The game
So
theory, yeah.
yeah, it's the game theories. What if these miners? What if 51% of miners all collude together? So slush pool via BTC, Jihan Wu's or Ant pool, and like, what if they all band together? What if they get into a room and discuss, hey, we're going to do this? What are we going to do? How do we stop that? They already have that power. They've decided together, wherever, that they're going to do that. And to me, we need to make sure that there are mechanisms in place to prevent against that. And that's more of a social attack.
You think that spinning up? You think that running your own node or a bunch of people running nodes, that's how you stop that?
I think it's one mechanism in place to do that, because if a bunch of people...
These guys have a fuck ton of money, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like spinning up another 10,000 nodes would be nothing for them. That, I mean, they would do that before they got out of bed if it would help them out.
So then, if what you guys are saying is true, then there's a major gap and a major flaw in Bitcoin, is what I'm hearing, if you guys don't agree that the nodes... So then what protects the network from this type of attack that I'm describing?
A greedy attack. He's going to be greedy. He's not. If you band together with a bunch of people, somebody's going to be sneaky. They're going to want the reward themselves, and they're not going to follow through with the whole, with the grouping up. They don't.
Why not? I mean, I don't know. Why wouldn't China and Russia band together to take mining power away from the United States? I mean, I don't think that that's...
I think this might be outside of the discussion between cash and Bitcoin, right?
Sure. I mean, we're going down a different
I don't.
But this to me goes to the block size. This is why, when I can think about it, this is why I don't should be increasing the block size, because this is where it leads you down. It leads you down to the roads.
Oh, so you're saying you increase the block size this big, then it gives more advantage to bigger players.
Yes, and less advantage to the people. The people
don't have
exactly. And I think
I know that's one of the reasons cash was one of the downsides of cash, right? Because we're giving more power to miners, right? Rob, do you? What, I mean, is that a good is that
the way I see it is miners realistically control the network. They're the ones that are putting all the hash power in. They're the ones moving the network forward. If all the users today stop using Bitcoin, then miners would still be able to mine Bitcoin. But if all the miners stopped, Bitcoin's done. Now, the thing is, though, is that, miners aren't going to do anything that harms their investment. So, some people like to tell me, oh, well, what would stop the miners from just setting the reward back to 50 Bitcoin per block? Well, the fact that nobody would then be buying their Bitcoin would be worth less.
They destroy their own.
Exactly.
They just destroy their own values. That's why at the end of the game is well, I'm just going to collect this Bitcoin. It's kind of like you put all this money into it. I'm just going to take the reward. I don't want to affect the network, because then you just destroy what you spent billions of dollars on. Right? So you non-monetarily incentivized just because you're evil. You want to destroy it.
You said something interesting just before this, which was, if the users stop using Bitcoin, you said that the miners would keep doing their thing. And I would argue that they wouldn't, because they're mining something that no one's using. So what's the point of mining Bitcoin if no one's using it?
I don't know. It's kind of
if you say no users are using Bitcoin, then what is the point of mining Bitcoin? If
users are using Bitcoin, then miners would likely, downsize. They would shut down their costs until it was at a point, economically viable for them to continue mining Bitcoin.
But Bitcoin is worthless because no one's using it in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
yeah,
what you're saying.
Now, let's just stop right there.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good question. Is my money safer in Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Segwit?
Yeah. Or
Now, what did we just say? If nobody's using it, then it's not worth anything. So which one of them are more people going to be able to use?
I mean, I'm looking at the price now, and Bitcoin is worth 5,800, and Bitcoin Cash
if I
is
have Bitcoin Cash and a cold wallet, I got a cold wallet and I got a piece of paper and Bitcoin. I guess what's more is it,
that wasn't
I don't
Chris'
know.
question though.
I don't know the answer. What is it?
His question was which one is more people going to be able to use?
We know
You're
today.
saying because of low fees, more people are going to use cash. That's your statement. I mean, that's the whole your side of the story, right? More transactions.
Eventually is what you're saying. Like eventually down the line when infrastructure matches the infrastructure today.
Right now, today, technically, more users can use Bitcoin Cash.
In what sense? Like my sister can't go on Coinbase and buy Bitcoin Cash.
Yes, Rob, go ahead. Why was that? Can you make that claim, source that statement?
I'm just saying, Bitcoin Cash technically could have more users, but from just Bitcoin Cash users sending Bitcoin Cash to other Bitcoin Cash users, our blocks fit that. We're not going to have the delays and the fees that Bitcoin would have if the same amount of users used it.
Right. Until, the whole world.
I want to see Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I want to see what happens when Bitcoin Cash has to deal with $1 billion of cap and what kind of more money, more problems, what kind of things. I don't know if it can handle it. If it's, I feel like at this Bitcoin segment level, you got power players now. You get real big money, and you got people making. I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah, and this is to what you just said. This is nothing compared to what is about to enter into the space of Bitcoin in terms of power players, in terms of money, in terms of nation states. Whatever's going on is the tip of the iceberg, and that to me is how I look at the macro, the biggest picture possible, and go down from there. And that's what scares me is how do we prepare for that?
So how do we protect Bitcoin? I don't want to kind of try to wrap up this question here. I know someone has to go. I want to make this statement. I guess for me, I've been saying this lately. Bitcoin Cash is my checking account. Bitcoin is my savings account. I think there's two different use cases. I don't think really it's versus one's better than the other. I don't.
Well, let me ask you something about that, Ryan. If Bitcoin is your savings account, what's keeping Bitcoin Cash from being the same thing?
What is keeping Bitcoin Cash? Because Bitcoin is advertising itself as a store of value, right? So Bitcoin Cash, and the reason Bitcoin, I'm just thinking out loud. The high fees do. I guess when I think high fees, I guess I'm thinking high security. Is that fair to say?
Nope.
No. Why? I mean, that's the whole idea with Bitcoin. You're going to pay.
These are relevant in the security of
I guess that's just the flood of the network, right? Yeah.
Actually, the more computing power is on the network, the more secure it is.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the fees are just, there to incentivize people to kind of get.
So I guess if you didn't have fees, you're going to have, like back in the day, someone put the whole Satoshi white paper on the blockchain because you just spam the network, right? So you're going to have to have some kind of fees, or people are just going to DDoS the shit out of it, right?
But also the fees is, once there's no more Bitcoins mined, in theory, this was part of Satoshi's theory, is, the miners get the fees. So the fees are going to be so big that they're still incentivized to maintain the network through fees.
No, you're not thinking of the transactional volume that it'll have by the time we're out of block rewards. By the time we're out of block rewards,
we're talking about 2,140, right?
Yeah, 2140.
Well done by then.
It's huge that there's going to be so many little fees. They all add up.
Yeah. So I mean, like the block right now, I think they get like 2 or 3 Bitcoins worth of fees on every block right now.
Mm-hmm.
in terms of Bitcoin, the BTC.
So like imagine if you have 100,000 transactions.
What's
and then
that?
Cost 1 cent.
Yeah.
Then you're still making a lot of money.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm just saying the fees exist for that purpose. I'm not saying how they are priced. I'm just saying, because you said it was a security thing, and I said no, it was a mining reward thing. Once there's no more Bitcoin, you pay.
Yeah.
That's how they. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about like down the road. I want to talk about right now. I guess if we didn't have fees, then we'd have tons of traffic on the network, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So and since there has to be a fee, you have to have a CAPTCHA when you fill out a form.
Exactly. Yes.
You got to have something that's
You have to think, miners, they're not going to mine transactions that aren't profitable for them to mine. So right now, Bitcoin Cash doesn't need high fees because all of these transactions are going to fit in the block anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to make their money from it, regardless of whether or not the fees are large enough. So, they don't need they don't need that. Now think about later on when we have gigabyte-sized blocks and people are maybe it's down the road when we don't have the block reward anymore. You're fitting a lot of transactions into that gigabyte-sized block.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the math off the top of my head, but I mean we're talking about like 3,000 transactions per second.
Yeah, so all the fees would go. Sure, that's a scenario that makes sense to me. I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't diss the fees, and I don't think. I'm just saying that. I think we're saying the same thing. I'll just stop talking and say that. But I think what you said before, and we didn't discuss, which I remember when you and I were talking, you were excited about it, was the savings versus the spending model, right? Store value versus day-to-day transactional tool, and Bitcoin Cash being day-to-day spending, and Bitcoin being the digital gold or store of value, or whatever, however you want to describe it.
Yeah, for me, I'm happy with both.
I'd be curious to hear Rob's.
Well, let me ask you, what keeps Bitcoin Cash from being a store of value?
Currently, nothing. Currently, to me, actually, I think Bitcoin Cash is a store of value, and I think that is its only property today. Currently,
you don't think usability is also its property? It's utility.
I think that we talk about it, but it's the same thing as Bitcoin, except for the 8 megabyte blockchain. So, whatever Bitcoin is, Bitcoin Cash is today, right now.
Chris and I, just a few days ago, we went and we got Korean barbecue in Santa Clara, and we paid with Bitcoin Cash right there from our phones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's utility. That's usability. Had we tried that with Bitcoin, he wouldn't have gotten that payment for days.
Yeah.
It's tough to see a Bitcoin as a transactional.
Well, so again,
walk down with gold in your hands and buy products.
My question is what are the long-term effects here? So, I mean, I can do that with Bitcoin. I did that last year with Bitcoin with my friend. So, like, we're at a point where Bitcoin network today, right now, is clogged and it can't perform those duties. But in terms of the concept of spending and saving, an inflationary currency versus deflationary currency, what I ask is, how does Bitcoin Cash become a spending tool and a saving tool at the same time? Right now, I see it as a saving tool in the same way that Bitcoin is a saving tool.
Because it's deflationary, right?
Because it's deflationary, right? So, the more valuable something becomes, the more you want to save and you don't want to spend it. And Bitcoin Cash currently is designed to get more valuable over time, just like Bitcoin is. So in 2, 3, 4 years, people aren't going to want to spend Bitcoin Cash because they know in the next 4 years it's going to be worth more. So you're not incentivized to spend it. So, and this is money in general.
Yeah,
that's the other
we're both
thing.
in the same ballpark there. I mean, but I don't.
And this to me is the bigger question I have with Bitcoin Cash.
Well, you and I were talking about this the other day.
Yeah,
it's deflationary, right? So
So when does the change happen? Because the whole sell of Bitcoin Cash is that you can buy coffee with it. So when does the change happen to it becoming an inflationary tool, a more of a fiat-like model where, you know, you're going to want to spend it today because it's going to lose value over time. Currently, fiat is there's no fixed cap, and that's kind of, and you know, the Fed defines.
Yeah, I think everybody's loves the idea of deflationary right now because who knows what's going on with the Fed.
Exactly,
so
and that's
now.
That's the
so
honey
I was
that
all
brings
for
you in.
deflationary, but then you know I got to thinking about it. You know, it's just I guess you know why do they want inflation 2%? The Feds want 2% inflation a year, and to incentivize spending. You know. Can you do that with a deflationary currency? Do people still want to spend it? I mean, I guess I don't.
No,
I don't know.
It's
for both
one
of
of
us,
the main tenets of economics. People just don't spend things that become more valuable over time.
Okay, so what are they going to use to pay for things with?
I mean, that to me is the big question, and I don't think there's many people talking about that. I don't know. That's a good question. Do we have the government coins and we still have fiat? Is that a possibility? And we're all
a coin that has a 1% inflation model. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Or you look at something like Pivx or Dash, where those are designed to be spending tools. So I know Pivx has the seesaw mechanism to control the rate of inflation and play against the price in the markets. So the more it goes up in price, the more it produces more Pivx, and as the price goes down, it produces less. So it is designed to control the rate of inflation. So it's more of a spending tool than a saving tool. So maybe that's a world where Bitcoin is the gold, and then all these other currencies flow in and out of Bitcoin, but it's all rated. Yeah. One possibility, one speculation. I have no clue, but that's the other thing that I question with Bitcoin Cash. And I don't know what the solution is to that.
I mean, here's the thing,
guys, I want to just kind of let's try to wrap it up here a little bit and do some final statements. But
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing real quick. So why do things go up in value? Because more people want it. And what's the way to get more people to want it? If more people are using it.
Right.
So the coin that has the most people using it can keep going up faster than something that doesn't have people using it. If people aren't using it, then
I'll argue against that in terms of like art,
like gold, right?
Or gold, yeah. The reason that stuff is valuable is because there's a limited supply of them, and we as a society deem it's valuable, right? A Van Gogh painting.
Sure. But why do we deem it's valuable? Because it's not just because it's in limited supply, but also because it has its own utility too. Gold has jewelry. Gold has use in electronics. Bitcoin. You're not gonna throw a Bitcoin on a necklace.
No, but you're gonna. Well, what can you do with Bitcoin? I think that's an interesting question. It's asset class, right? There's a lot of things we could do with it. You can code onto it. You do the smart contracts. You have an immutable ledger that humanity can imprint whatever they wish on that blockchain for all of perpetuity. It's maintained by everyone who participates in the network. That's something that's powerful that we've never had in all of human history.
Yeah, but I see Bitcoin Cash's argument is that they have a utility that more people are going to want to transact Bitcoin Cash than they are Bitcoin, and that gives it more value. I guess if everyone just held Bitcoin, you'd sell it until you couldn't. If it was worth something, you'd hold on to it forever, and then you got to sell it when you
exactly.
Well, and
I don't know if
temporarily
kind of like gold, but I don't know. I mean,
let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What happens if nobody spins or sells their Bitcoin? How do miners recoup their investment?
I mean, that's good. Yeah.
So in that scenario, you're saying that nobody's moving Bitcoin ever. So you'd say that, okay.
Like you said, nobody's going to want to be able to.
So I think that's where the concept of the settlement layer comes in. So
we need to get fees down, and Lightning Network is going to do that for Bitcoin segment, right? That's obvious. No one
we need
right?
That again. We've gone into this like 10 years, 20, 30 years in. But today, currently, yes, everyone can agree that scaling.
But obviously, we don't agree. We don't want fees. Bitcoin Cash is doing it without fees right now.
Well, we want fees. We just want low fees.
Low fees.
We don't want to eliminate fees here.
Yeah,
part of the design.
But the miners, they won't get fees from Lightning.
No, because in that scenario, you would assume that it would be end of day settlements, right? So Starbucks, for instance, does globally 1 million transactions a day. Then they package all those transactions up in one big chunk and then do their settlement at the end of the day.
But it's not like all of those transactions, like it's not going to be like one, like it's not going to be a massive block of transactions. It's going to be like a couple of transactions from them closing their channel. It's going to be minimal fees. I mean, we're talking about, one transaction per channel.
Well, I mean, we're speculating on how, say, Starbucks is managing their Bitcoin network payment.
9:20, guys. Just
okay, all right.
We're gonna kill it. I
feel like we're getting.
I don't know if we want to take any questions from the comments, but I don't want to cut you off. But we got a lot of activity there.
Good. Maybe we can do a follow-up one.
I want to let's try to maybe we can break it down here. Break down Bitcoin. We can.
There you go. Yeah.
Kind of each aspect, transactions, does that have utility for, looking at SegWit, is there more security, the security aspect, and kind of try to figure out really, what's objectively, where should my money be in? But other than that, we can look at, you guys want to take anybody in the comments? I guess they can ask some questions.
I had one quick more comment. So
yeah,
it can be temporarily valuable that a lot of people put their faith into, like any kind of a fad, like Beanie Babies or Pogs.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have value over the long term.
Correct.
So in order for something to have value over the long term, then there has to be some other reason.
Utility, right? Or some kind of use case. Yeah.
So we'd have to. I mean, in terms of Bitcoin, we'd have to create that value. We'd have to give a reason for Bitcoin to be valuable outside of a store of value. So is it a payment? Is it a settlement layer? Is it an immutable ledger?
Bitcoin SegWit's got low fees, right? Now, is there both at the same fee level? People are transactioning them the same. Is SegWit now better than Bitcoin Cash if our fees are down your level? Why not? If so, why not? If we get down, is that possible? I don't want to open up another can of worms, but let's say we got Bitcoin we got the fees down. I mean, I sent one for like 3.30 or 3 cents over the other day for my SegWit wallet.
3 cents?
30 cents. I can't remember 3 or 30 cents.
Because I'm sending Bitcoin Cash for like a millionth of a penny, man.
Oh,
it's cheap.
Well, let's say let's say we were down that low too. I don't know if that's a bad question to ask, because what?
The hard 1 megabyte limit, and that's just
if you can't ask that
chosen thing that they have, and that's limiting the number of people that can use it.
The Lightning Network. With the Lightning Network, we get the fees down that low.
Well, I mean, it's a complicated technology that just adds more complexity and
complexity. Yeah. I need some more.
The thing with Lightning is you've got to lock up your money with the other party in order to then spend that money. So if you want to go buy
a mistake kind of thing,
like somebody in the comment section just now, they said, let me just go lock up $1,000 with Starbucks. That's how I like buying coffee. And realistically, it's what you'd have to do. You'd have to lock up a shit ton of money to open up a channel with somebody, and then transact with that party from that amount of money.
Yeah. So Lightning Network. Well, I don't want to get too deep into the network, but because I don't know enough to talk about it. I don't want to waste anyone's time unless you guys do. But
I don't think you're wasting people's time. This is what they want to hear.
Yeah. They want to see this battle. Like, fuck you guys. You guys be trash.
Yeah. No.
No, seriously.
We're respectful to one another here.
Let me know when your next pump is. No, this has been a good talk. Maybe we'll try to get this a little more structured with some questions and get some.
Sure.
And I guess, does anybody else have any closing comments before we kill it here in 2 minutes? If this is worth the time, think Roger Vere's. What's going on with Roger Vere?
He's been fairly quiet. I think he made a tweet or two, and that was about it.
Is he happy as a clam right now?
I don't know.
Didn't he just today move like a massive amount of Bitcoins to exchanges to trade for Bitcoin Cash?
That's the rumor going around. Yeah,
And that's why my transactions won't go through, right?
blame him.
It's been a plan. He's been brewing this plan for a while, since August.
Yes,
I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that want to move their Bitcoin and get Bitcoin Cash.
I think
so,
what's
yeah.
the uncut the meme totals right now is at I mean, it keeps going up. I'm thinking of trying to boost my fee because I don't think it's going to go through until the next 141,000 unconfirmed transactions at 41 transactions per second. That's
How many
2 or 4 3 hours, but that's going to keep adding. What?
How many megabytes is that?
Oh,
You're gonna have to wait 2 weeks till the difficulty adjusts, and then you'll.
yeah, but the problem, I think mine was like 200 satoshis per byte for my transaction, and right now they're only, all the nodes are only, miners are only accepting over like 900, so I'd have to pay like $60 to get my transactions.
So
but
Now that's usability.
oh yeah.
I'm going to come up with some more ammo next time. Maybe we can. I'm not going to be taking sides here. I want to get this out in the open, and if I'm wrong,
Sure.
I'll admit it. You know, but I don't think people should. You can't have egos in this business. You have to be clear. But other than that, any final words, guys? We're going to cut this off.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. I think it's always good to keep learning, and I think that it's important to ask questions if you don't understand something. So if you don't understand something, ask it, because see what answers you get.
Yeah.
And to add to that, I would say don't trust anyone. Do your own research. Ask the questions, listen to what people say, and then go and figure it out for yourself and prove it to yourself.
Rob, any words of wisdom? Buy Bitcoin Cash. Okay. Well, cool, guys. We're going to sign off here. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Sorry we didn't get all of the questions, but like the video, subscribe. But maybe we'll do this again. Let us know what you think. Later, guys.
Cool. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.